Hello everyone, this is Darion of GNB Productions, and today we'll be taking a look at Sonic Dream Team. Sonic Dream Team is an Apple Arcade exclusive Sonic the Hedgehog mobile game released in December of 2023. In it, you'll be tasked to play as Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Cream and Cheese, and Rouge in order to defeat Dr. Eggman, who this time has acquired a device known as the Reverie, a device that allows him to make his nightmarish dreams of world domination become reality. This game really came out of the deep fucking blue, didn't it? Here we are after the fucking feast we Sonic fans have been given for 2 straight years, and the folks at Sega Hardlight decided to drop this on our plate at the tail end of the year. When Dream Team was revealed, I was of course intrigued. The art style looked cool, the fact that the levels looked semi-open world was kinda neat, and bringing back Rouge and fucking Cream as playable characters after God knows how long? Lord knows I couldn't miss out on this. The game received a fair bit of controversy upon reveal. As I mentioned earlier, the game is not only exclusive to Apple devices, but Apple Arcade as well, a subscription service that you'll have to pay and continue to pay monthly if you want to play this game. I don't want to make this a whole thing, but I gotta say, some people are treating this just like it's basic game exclusivity, when in actuality, it's far shittier. Normally, when games are exclusive to consoles, all you really gotta do, if you have the money that is pay for the console and then the game, and then you're just set. With stuff like Apple Arcade, you'll not only have to pay for an Apple device, the best one to go with would be a 4K Apple TV, then pay for the subscription, and keep paying if you want to play the game. I feel like I don't need to go any further on as to why that kinda fucking sucks. Anyway, now for the actual game. What is it you actually do in Sonic Dream Team? Well, in the game, you venture through 4 dream worlds: Scrambled Shores, Dream Factory, Nightmare Maze, and Ego City. Within each dream world, there are 4 acts, and within each act, you have a different objective. These objectives range from stuff like reaching the goal in a certain amount of time, or collecting dream orbs, or collecting dream shards, and you'll basically be doing a variation of that throughout the game. That may sound repetitive as hell, but where this game really shines is in its level design and its physics. While not what I myself would want in my 3D Sonic platformer, this game is still a shit ton of fun. The game is pretty linear, all things considered, but traversing through these levels is pretty damn fun. The game relies on the traditional boost formula, but this to me feels like a proper evolution of it. I don't blame folks for wanting to compare this to the likes of the adventure games, because the way you explore and traverse these open areas is kind of reminiscent of that. The levels are far more open, and there are a bunch of cool branching paths to explore, and it's really fun. I've mentioned this before, I love when my Sonic game gives me alternate paths to traverse. It makes me feel like I'm on a legitimate adventure, and for a mobile game, Dream Team has this pretty down packed, I'd say. It's not perfect, but it's so much fun being able to play around with some of the physics and explore different areas with these characters. As while you may just be replaying the same level several times, there are some that, like the adventure games, are dedicated and designed for specific character types and playstyles, so things tend to not get too stale too fast. This is the most fun I think I've had with 3D Sonic platforming in a while, honestly. A lot of the levels are very bite-sized, but they're plentiful enough to where it almost doesn't matter. As I mentioned earlier, we have 6 playable characters, with 3 different playstyles. We have Sonic and Amy, our speed type, Tails and Cream, our flight type, and Knuckles and Rouge, our power, explorer, glide type? I don't really know what to call them. And they really vary in terms of quality. They all follow the same template, though. They all have a boost, they can own homing attack, but they each get their own few little quirks. Sonic and Amy have an air dash as well as a light speed dash. The air dash, in some cases, while good, doesn't get you that far or carries that much momentum, I think. The Lightspeed Dash, kind of like Generations, is very situational. You won't just be able to dash across any trail of rings. You'll have to do it in specific segments. Whether that's a good or bad thing is completely up to you, but I didn't mind it. The other characters are where we have a bit more problems. The flight characters, or more appropriately, their flight controls, feel like shit. The flight meter goes down way too damn fast, and the flight itself kills all sense of movement. It's literally painful trying to fly around as these guys, and the power characters are somehow even worse. Knuckles and Rouge's glide is so ass. You descend so fucking fast, and the turn radius is painful. These guys turn like they're a fucking tank. It's awful. But even with those last two hiccups in the playstyle department, I still like playing as every one of these guys. The game features 4 bosses, each representative of each of the dream worlds. Each boss, except for the fourth and final one, is just okay. You fight a balloon crab and defeat it by going up its ass. These 4 robot drill guys that become a bigger drill guy. This one I thought was actually pretty neat. I actually didn't hate this one. Then you fight whatever this fucking terrifying thing is. And other than racing towards it and it changing the level so you're on a wall once or twice and knocking robots back into it, it's just okay. Though, if this boss fight made me realize anything, it's that I hope the quick step is removed in later games. I don't know, having to actually manually move out of the way to avoid obstacles is so much more interesting than just simply tapping a button and having it automatically move out of the way. I don't know, I just think it's more interesting and engaging. These bosses are about as simple as you can imagine. The presentation on them is pretty good. I love their designs, but yeah, they're pretty simple. The only reason the final one sticks out is because of the horrifying nightmare Eggman chasing after you and the kick-ass music accompanied by it. Speaking of which, the music. It, just like the boss fights, are just kinda okay. There are only like a handful of tracks that are repeated throughout the game, and it's kinda just standard mobile game music. It ain't bad, but it ain't that great either. The final boss music, on the other hand, goes so fucking hard. I cannot stress enough how much I am in love with this game's art style. Graphically, it's not anything to write home about. This is a game that some are going to be playing on their phone, so don't expect it to look AAA. Regardless, I'd still say it looks great. I played this on an Apple TV and upped the quality and resolution. I've heard some say resolution affects the frame rate. I don't know how true that is, but I did encounter a few frame drops here and there. Not a real big deal for me, but just thought I'd bring it up. Something else I feel the need to say is that you'll be fighting with the camera a lot. I tried messing with the options, but both resulted in the camera getting pretty wonky in random ass moments. Can someone explain to me why the hell this mobile game has better character animations than the $60 20-hour open world game? I know there are only a total of like 4 or 5 of them in the actual game, but the fact that the animations are this smooth and this fluid is fucking insane to me. I pray to God the next game's character models look like these ones, because they're just fucking perfect. The aesthetics of the Dream Worlds all look beautiful too. I love how Scrambled Shores looks like it has bounce house elements. The lava in Dream Factory looks like melted cheese, which I find pretty funny. Nightmare Maze looked pretty fun, and I absolutely adored Ego City. This is what a world conquered by Eggman would look like, Sega. Take notes. I would not be mad if the next open zone Sonic game carried this kind of aesthetic, as, in my opinion, it's more visually interesting than what Frontiers attempted, and I liked what that game was going for. I don't need this exact style, but something similar would be cool. A decent selling point for this game was its story, as it is a story-driven mobile game. The story is fine. I wasn't expecting much, but being written by Ian Flynn, I was at least expecting everyone to be well in character and a few nice interactions. And that is what I got. Everyone is, for the most part, decently characterized, and there were some fun interactions here and there. A majority of the cutscenes are told in these still images like a storybook of sorts, and they're fine. Given how gorgeous the character animations were, I'd wish that those would be the primary way the story would be told, but it is what it is, I guess. To go off on a bit of a tangent real quick, you can really test certain Sonic fans' comprehension skills by asking them how they feel about Rouge hanging out with Sonic and company more. In the span of a year between Sonic Prime and this game, Rouge has been shown to be working alongside Team Sonic, and for some reason, fans take that as her being an official member of Sonic's close friend group, and Sega just abandoning Team Dark altogether. Even though in both of these instances she's shown to be working with them for her own specific goals, which is what she always does. The only reason she's here in this game is because she gave Sonic and Co. intel on where to find Eggman since he kidnapped Cream and Cheese. She even did it for a reward. They never specify what exactly that reward is, but that's besides the point. I just think it's silly to imply that Rouge can be around characters that aren't Shadow and Omega. Anyway, tangent over. The voice acting in this game is mostly bad. Alright, I'm only slightly exaggerating. Cindy Robinson sounds so much better and more lively as Amy, and Colleen is always great as Tails. I've expressed before that I was never fond of Roger's Sonic voice, especially in Frontiers where they made his voice even deeper and not sound like Sonic even more. In this game, he's a little all over the place with him sounding normal and him sounding super deep again, and I'm just not a fan. Dave B. Mitchell sounds pretty good as Knuckles, though. Rouge and Cream sound horrible. Well, Cream less so, but I think the voice direction called for an overtly squeaky sounding voice, and it just doesn't work, and it pisses me off the more I hear it.
Oh, thank you, Miss R.E.M. And thank you, too, for all your hard work.
Cream, I'm so glad you're finally free. Are you feeling all right?
Yes? Hi! And cheeses, too.
Rouge just doesn't sound like fucking Rouge anymore. What the fuck happened?
It turns the dreams of the pure-hearted into reality.
So, someone could dream up anything, and you'd be able to make it happen in the real world? Interesting.
Oh, don't get your hopes up. She did say pure-hearted.
Huh? What does that even mean?
Why is Rouge more high-pitched than fucking Amy? It's a shame because I always thought this Rouge voice was fine, but needed better voice direction to sound less seductive. This just sounds horrible. I was inclined to give her another chance, but since this game's release, it was brought to my attention that Rouge's current voice actress, Karen Strassman, is not a good person, so let's campaign to get a replacement, shall we? Like Azumi Evans from Sonic Prime? Please? The new character for this game, REM, was fine. There really isn't anything noteworthy about her other than her relationship with Cream being kinda cute. Performance-wise, she may be the best out of everyone in the game. I thought I had heard her voice somewhere before, and it turns out the voice actress, Jeannie Tirado, voiced fucking Android 21. How many more Dragon Ball characters are gonna bleed over into this franchise? First we had fucking Goku as the villain of Shadow the Hedgehog, now this? Anyway, REM as a character was fine, and Jeannie Tirado did a pretty good job. So, the story was okay, the voice acting was a little all over the place, the gameplay was really fun. I think that about wraps it up for Dream Team. Overall, Sonic Dream Team is just a fun game. The levels are all really cool visually, and the art style in general is fucking beautiful. The gameplay, while not perfect for some characters, is still a lot of fun. The platforming is great, the exploration is great, the music and boss fights are decent. Sonic Dream Team is just a really fun game. Would this be something I recommend you go out of your way to buy an Apple device and check out? No, not really. I borrowed my aunt's Apple TV so that I can check it out, and I can still confidently say that this isn't something you need to desperately get your hands on. You can wait for them to add a few more stuff like characters or additional levels and stuff like that before I recommend checking it out. So, with all that said, if you agree or disagree with anything I've said in this video, let me know right down there in the comments below. Also, be sure to like and subscribe. This is Darion of GNB Productions, and take care.